Hello, welcome to our Google Hangouts on air. My name is Christina Etheridge, and I'm doing Integrating Social Studies Weekly. Welcome to our Google Hangouts on air. My name is Christina Etheridge, and I'm doing Integrating Social Studies Weekly. Welcome to our Google Hangouts on air. My name is Christina Etheridge, and I'm doing Integrating Social Studies Weekly. Is that better? I muted it.
Okay, but you'll need your microphone. Turn your volume down a little bit.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Is that better? I muted it.
Where's your screen? Turn your volume down a little bit. Okay, you're right there. So it's recording now, so you can go and you can share your screen. Where's your Hangout?
Okay, talk now. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, it's on.
Okay. You should have your controls over here. Okay. There's your screen right there. Your screensaver is right there. Now you can share your screen. There you go. Now you ought to be able to share your screen.
I need for them to see my screen.
It may be showing over here.
So I could click this.
Yeah, go ahead. And then share.
Share.
Okay.
Okay, so now they'll see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me now. Sorry, we were having some technical difficulties, and thank you very much to Kathy Miller for her help. My name is Christina Etheridge. I teach 4th grade at ELA and Social Studies at Hillside Academy, and my moderator today is Katrina Wright, and she teaches 2nd grade at Toller Elementary. In our classrooms, as far as technology goes, at Hillside, I have 2 student computers in my classroom. I have a laptop cart that I share with other 4th grade teachers, and we have computer lab time available. At Katrina's school at Toller, she has 4 student computers in her classroom, a laptop cart that she shares with the other 2nd grade teachers, and daily computer lab time. The topic of our webinar is using the Studies Weekly component online. If you are a K1 or 2 teacher, you probably don't get the newspapers yet that you're seeing on the bottom of the screen, but you do have access from the district to Studies Weekly, which is online. If you are a grades 3, 4, or 5 teacher, then you should have Studies Weekly newspapers. You should have gotten a box of them at the beginning of the year, which is enough newspapers for every student in your class to use every week for the duration of this school year. And you can see this is a picture of a set of newspapers for for 6 weeks. In Studies Weekly, if you've gotten the newspapers already, it included information about their website, which is also called Studies Weekly. The easiest way to get to Studies Weekly is just to go to Google and look them up. I will tell you that the ISTE standard that this webinar goes with is Knowledge Constructor. The Garland ISD monthly technology skills focus for October is integrating digital resources. And this is one that if you have the newspapers, I highly recommend. So if you do a Google search for Studies Weekly, the very first thing that you'll see is at the top. And if you click on it, it takes you to the website where you can log in. When you go to log in, if you've never been to the Studies Weekly website before, Garland ISD has set us up with a system called Clever. And the nice thing about this is you don't have to import any students. You don't have to create your own passwords. Everything is already there for you. So as a teacher, if you go to the website and you log in using Clever, it's going to take you to this screen, and you'll have to search for your school. So I'm at Hillside Academy. So I'm going to type in Hillside Academy, and my school pops up. So I'll click on it, and then I'll click on Log In. Once I log in, all I have to do as a teacher is put in my novel information, just like I would log into my teacher computer every day. So you can see that it's going to log me in, and I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to set up an account or anything. Garland ISD has done that for me. So again, as a teacher, when you go to log in, you would just go and log in using Clever. And the Clever, you can see, I'll go back real quick. It's right here on the main screen when you go to studiesweekly.com. So when I click Login using Clever, it's going to log me in because it already has my information now. You'll see several things at the top. You'll see the link to the main website in case you need more information. It's got me in the newspaper part for reading. I can click on my classes, and I'll come back to that later. And then this is my information where it can sign you out and different things like that. As a K1 and 2 teacher, you don't have the newspapers in your classroom, but you do have access to this. This is called Every Kid Votes. It's for grades K2. We're in an election year. And so if you click on this, this will be a newspaper that's going to have 4 weeks worth of lessons and activities that you can use, and you can you can show this to your class. And other things that I'll show you, that anything that you could do with the newspapers in 3, 4, 5 online, you can do with this K2. It's just you won't have the physical newspaper for the students to have in their hands. But you can see, you could click on a week, and it will take you to all of these different articles that cover everything about the election coming up in 2016. With Studies Weekly, if you go to their main website, there is also an area where you can sign up for, I'm already signed up, so it's not on mine, but you can go to the Studies Weekly website and sign up to get information sent to you, and they'll start sending you information about a November election that they're going to do, where every kid can vote on the things that are inside of the actual newspaper. So if you, in K2, if you take your students to the newspaper and you do some of these activities online using the camera in your classroom, then they could do the Every Kid Votes in November and see how their votes tallied up. If you are grades 3, 4, and 5, you can see that we also have an Every Kid's Vote newspaper that you can use, and it is not included in the box of newspapers that you would have gotten at the beginning of the year. So this is separate. We have 6 weeks worth of lessons to look at, and it starts with week 1. And you'll see that this starts out with like a reader's theater, and there are just so many different ways that you could use this in the classroom. I will show you some things that the students can do on their own in just a minute. If you notice at the top on every article that I open, there is a play button. And if I push play, and I'll push real quick, you can see the purple moving here, and if you were a student that had headphones plugged in, or if you were a teacher that is streaming this over your camera in your classroom, you'll hear them reading the text to you. And it tells you how long it would take for a student to read the whole text and things like that. You, as a teacher, you can click on the different articles to take your students where you want them to be and for what you want to see, or you can click previous and next to look at it more like the newspaper is set up. So this is the Every Kid's Vote. That is back on the main website. So this is 3 through 5, and this is K through 2. If you're a grades 3 through 5 teacher, you also will have newspapers, physical newspapers in your classroom that match what you see on the screen. So you can see this is in Spanish grade 3, this is grade 3 in English, this is grade 4 in Spanish, grade 4 in English, grade 5 in Spanish, 5 in English, and then there's an actual, it's a middle school grade 6 global studies weekly. So I teach 4th grade, so I'm going to click on the 4th grade newspaper to show you some information. As you can see, it takes you, there's week 1 at the top, and it goes all the way down, and you keep on going all the way to the bottom to week 32. If you look at the social studies curriculum online, it is pretty much aligned to the way that the newspapers are set up. For example, right now in social studies online, we're in 4th grade. We are studying the Texas Native Americans, and in the weeks 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's all about the American Indians, and the articles that you read in the newspaper in 4th grade are more for Texas. If you are in 3rd grade, up here, you'll see that yours are all going to be about communities. And then in 5th grade, it's going to be all about American history. So if I click on 3rd grade, you can see that it's the founding of the nation, money, explorers, transportation, and just different things like that. In 5th grade, it is also pretty much aligned with your curriculum. You've got early American settlements, the Revolutionary War, the Constitution, and all the way down through the nation today. So there's a lot of information in here. So if I, and then this is the Spanish version. So if you have bilingual students, you also have access to that. So as a teacher, when I click on here, and you know, as a teacher, you may be doing some of the newspapers in a different order. For example, we already had, we discussed the Constitution, and that was in week 3, and then the Native Americans. But if you are working on something else right now in your social studies lessons, and there's a newspaper later that matches that, you know, you can click on different weeks. So we're in the Native Americans right now. So I'm going to click on week 7 just to show you a little bit about how it's set up. So as a teacher, you've got the articles. These articles are the articles that the students have in the newspaper. So if you have students that are struggling readers, or if you want to present this to your class, you can put this in stations on student computers, on your iPads, on laptops, and then you can have them have the articles read to them online. As you can see, the students, as they go, they collect these coins as they go for all the articles that they read. And then for each article, this is a little bit different than what's in the newspaper. On the online portion, you see that there are some questions down here that the students can answer, and they're sorted by easy, moderate, and hard based on just the article that's at the top of the page. So it's a good way to kind of do some formative assessment to see if your students are understanding what they read. As a teacher, if you go to the bottom of the newspaper article that you're working on, you'll see that there are all kinds of different things down here for the teacher. If the Studies Weekly newspapers come with teacher guides for every unit, and so if you look down here, you've got the units online. So if you're planning and you're not in your classroom and you don't have the books available, you have everything at your fingertips online. So these are the unit standards. If you want to know what TEKS you're working on for each newspaper, they're here. We've got the article standards, if there are any that go with that specific article. This is your lesson plan. If you have the teacher guide, which has the full 8 weeks worth of lessons in it, this will show you all the information for just this newspaper. So if you want just a quick reference, it tells you your TEKS, and it's got ALPS for you. It'll have vocabulary words, suggested literature, and all this is in the paper guide that you get as well. And then for each page of the newspaper, it gives you questions and ideas. Sometimes it has differentiated instruction. And then it's got star writing connections, and this is for every newspaper. So if you haven't dug into your newspapers yet this year, it's great content across reading and social studies and writing. And then you'll see some of the lessons are tied into math and science as well. On the online portion, a different thing that they have are the content videos. If you click here, it will give you videos that you can show your class that have something to do with the newspaper, and these are really good for generating interest in whatever topic it is that you are working on. So if I click on the Pilgrims, it's going to be a short video, and all of the videos are about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long. They give you a brief look at something having to do with the newspaper topic. And then underneath that, you'll have Blackline Masters. These are going to be different worksheets that you can make for your students to do. These are also found in the teacher guide that comes with your newspapers. So if I click this, you'll see some student directions and things on some different Native Americans that we're working on right now. These 3 things at the bottom are just information for teachers that kind of give you an overview about the newspapers, and then just some general resources about the newspapers for all of the grades. And then there are leveled readers that are K through 2nd grade that you can have and view and download for your students as well. So K through 2 teachers, this is another place that you can go besides the Every Kid Votes. So if I go back up to the top to look at the newspaper, this was the first article on week 1, and then as a student is reading or as you're sharing this with your class, you can go from article to article. Every newspaper usually includes a crossword or a code or something of some kind, and those the kids can actually play online as well. So it's kind of a fun game or activity. And then these are some spelling activities that come with the unit, and it's going to give the kids some words that appear in the article that are help with spelling. So these are not included in every newspaper section, but in a lot of them they are. So the kids can go and play, and they earn coins based on the different things that are on screen. And all of the words that you see have something to do with what they read in that newspaper. So after that, we've got all of these different things available. The last thing that you need to know as a teacher is that your classes have already been imported in here by the district. So if I click on classes, the thing that you'll see, I have all my student names, and they can all log in with Clever. And then I have multiple classes, so I can go to different classes to see what they're working on. The awesome part about that is that as a teacher, if you are, I'm going to go ahead and sign out so you can see the beginning again. My students can get on to Studies Weekly the exact same way that I did. They can go to studiesweekly.com online, and then they can log in using Clever. So they would log in when the original screen comes up. What they would log in as is using their district information. So it would be the S plus their lunch number and then their NPIN, which if you use iStation at your school, it's the same thing as their iStation login. And because the students can log in on their own, if you show your class how to get to their newspaper, and then they can log in and you can assign them, I want you to read week 7, and you can assign them in groups. Or you can, if you have a lab day, they can go to the lab and they can read through the newspaper on their own. Your students will not see all of this. They'll just see the weeks, and they'll be able to click on the week that they're working on. Another thing as a teacher that you can do in your classes is that I can set up what newspaper I want them to have access to. So if I go to class options and assign publications, right now my classes assign all of the newspapers. So if I wanted them to read a 3rd grade newspaper, they could. If I wanted them to read a 5th grade newspaper, they could. So if I have students who are more advanced or they're working on different topics or things, they can. But if I only want them to see my newspaper, I would just go through and I would click no on all of the ones that don't apply to me, and then to my class. And then when I'm finished, I can go and save this. I think it's at the top. It saves automatically, I guess. So you can save this, and then your students, when they log in, will only see their newspaper. So when they're in their newspaper, they can read it, and they'll earn coins, and they can work on their crosswords and different things like that. So when they log in, they'll get to their newspaper, and this is all that they'll see, are the things that are at the top. As a teacher, with that, the other thing that you can do is you'll see that you've got activate tests, test scores, edit tests, and standards. You can actually give your students a test based on what they're reading on the newspaper. And then once your class has had time to read it, however you set that up, you can go in and you can view your classes and find out how your students did on all of that information. My students haven't done anything yet, so I don't have any information to show you right now, but you can do that as a teacher. You can look at the information when they're done. So again, it's another reading type of assessment that you can use. And really, that's everything for Studies Weekly. The more you go into it and use it and try it out with your students to see what works and what doesn't, the more information you're going to know about how it'll work for your classroom. There's just all kinds of possibilities and options available through the website. So if there are any questions, I'll answer some questions now.
How to add students.
How to add students. To add students, if you go to your classes and your students are not there, my classes are all listed. So I'm going to go to my class options. For some reason, that part's not working. Okay. I'm going to assign a publication. And that's a good question. I'm not sure if it's because I'm logged in with Clever. My classes have already been imported. So I'm assuming that since I'm logged in with Clever, I would probably have to go to my CTA and ask them if they can add my classes for me. So if you open up your information and you are not seeing your classes, you'll want to talk to your CTA at your school to find out if they can add that, because with Clever, it should already be added for you. Any other questions? No? No more questions? All right. I appreciate everybody that watched this today. And if you didn't know, you can come back to this link later if I talk too fast or if you want to see something again. Click on the link and feel free to watch it as many times as you want to. Please feel free to email me. I didn't put that on my slide, but if you just type in my name in the district email, it should show up, and you can also email Katrina. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. If you, to receive credit for this webinar, if you will go to this link, and it will help you earn your CPE credit in Oracle, and I'll leave that up on the screen. Do I just push stop?